It's funny because that's exactly what rapping is all about.
Perfect.
You've probably noticed, but I've been using this clip of Waka Flocka and Russell Brand. I meant Russell Simmons in a couple of my recent videos because not only is it great and so true, it's also extremely funny. But something came out that I'm very disappointed in, but I have a response to in hopes that it'll help anyone who's watching this video who might feel the same way or maybe agrees but is vegan, if that makes sense. You'll see.
Are you still vegan? Nah, I dropped the vegan card. What happened with that? I think the public scared me from being vegan. I got so conditioned. I got blinded from what's really vegan. I got conditioned to just reading the label and someone says it's vegan, so therefore it's healthy, and it really wasn't vegan. I'm at a crisis with myself. I'm at a battle with myself right now when it comes to this. What I call myself now is a conscious eater, meaning I'm conscious about the things I put in my mouth and about the things that I drink.
I think he's focusing on the health aspects of veganism, which is great. Live your best, healthiest life possible. But the thing is that if you are like him and you see veganism as just this healthy thing and it's all about health, then you're most likely going to feel just like Waka, kind of disappointed and just not feeling it anymore once you find out that veganism isn't all about health like you originally thought. Veganism is a lifestyle, it's not a diet, it's not healthy, nor is it unhealthy, because it's not about any of that. It's about ethics. It's about doing what's right for the sake of others, such as fellow humans on this planet, because when you consume animal products, it also negatively affects them, and also, of course, the animals and the planet that we all live on and share, because future generations will also would like to enjoy this planet as well. So we need to take good care of it as much as we can.
I'm a conscious eater. Gotcha. Meaning I'm conscious about things I put in my mouth. I know the ingredients in the food. I know the chemicals. If it's in some chemicals, I know what that cup made out of. I know if I'm eating out this plastic utensil, what it's doing. Like, I'm a conscious eater.
Don't get me wrong, I was also so disappointed when I found out that vegan food isn't all healthy like what I originally thought. When I went vegan, I was like, okay, this is the answer to all my problems, because I was on a health journey. I was kind of overweight and I was struggling with that, and it was frustrating, and I thought veganism was the answer to all of my health problems, and I'll lose weight and I'll be able to eat all this food that I love and it'll be so fun. But then I found out things like tofurkey and, well, chow wasn't out at the time, and dea and stuff like that isn't the most healthy for me, and I still will be unhealthy. I'll be a little healthier and I'll be more ethical and I'll be doing the right thing, but I won't be as healthy as I would like and what I thought I would be when I went vegan. And I still am pretty disappointed about that, because I would love to eat all the vegan food, all of the vegan things, because there are so many things that I would love to have now, especially now because when I went vegan about 7 years ago, they didn't have the things that they have now, and there weren't all these new brands and all these exciting new things to try, and I wish I had that when I went vegan.
Those are hot dogs on the grill, correct?
Yeah.
Stuff like that give you cancer. Now, would you feed your kids that? Your dog? Your wife? Your mother? How about some veggies?
You can still be healthy as a vegan, and you can also be unhealthy as a vegan. It just depends on what you eat. But you do have to remember that a whole foods plant-based diet, well, lifestyle, something that you do for your whole entire life, not just a diet because you want to lose some weight or you want to get healthy and you think that it's going to fix everything and then you can go back to your unhealthy ways. It is the only diet that has reversed and cured a lot of diseases and illnesses that are life-threatening to us humans. So like for me, I love green smoothies and I love simple things like sweet potatoes with beans and salsa and pico de gallo and cilantro and stuff like that, but I also love mac and cheese and pizza, seitan wings, of course, like all the vegan versions of those things. Well, seitan wings are already the vegan version. I love all that kind of stuff, but I have just figured out a way how to make those things healthier, because there are the vegan versions of them, of course, but usually the ones that are sold in stores and in restaurants are not the healthiest. But you can also just make them out of whole plant foods just as good, as long as you cook them right and season them right, and they're so much better for you than all the other like vegan junk food, you know what I mean? I mean, that stuff is still better for you than the animal product, and it's better for the planet and those on the planet, but it's not the healthiest like what a lot of people would like.
I think saying that I'm vegan is like putting a title on me. I'm making myself sound like I'm better than somebody else.
Someone had put this perspective out there for me and it makes so much sense. Think about this. What about those people who consume animal products and they're aware of the death and harm that they inflict upon others when they do so? And not just any others. These others are sentient beings who can feel pain both mentally and physically, just like you and I can. What about those people? Don't you think that some part of them thinks that they're better some way or another enough to take the lives and freedom away from those specific sentient beings?
If I'm saying I'm vegan and you're not vegan, what does that make you? A sloppy motherfucker? It fucks with me. Just to seem like, yo, you shouldn't eat meat. That's not good. Like, who's to say you can't eat meat?
I believe that makes them an athlete, a carnist, someone who loves painting, someone who writes songs, someone who's a student, someone who is gluten-free. Just because people share who they are, what they do, etc., doesn't mean that they think that they're better than anyone else by sharing that with others. I don't want to say those things because it comes across as I know everything, I'm cocky, I'm talented, I'm this and that, but in reality, you just want to share with others what you do and what you enjoy doing and what you stand for, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're going to have perceptions behind those things, that's the problem. It's not the thing itself that's the problem, it's you having a perception behind those things, or other people, and you feel like other people have a perception behind those words when you speak them. I think that's more of a people problem than a vegan problem, because you could say that you're a rapper, which you are, or you could say that you're a teacher. But just because you say those things doesn't mean that you're stating that you're better than anyone else or that you're smarter than anyone else. You're just speaking about what you do and what you enjoy doing and what you're passionate about and what you spend your time doing. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's more say, hey, I'm better than you because I'm vegan. I ain't like that.
Just because you say you stand for something or you do something isn't saying anything about others. It's not saying that they're sloppy or they can't do something. You're just speaking for yourself. And you're not speaking for others. You're not seeing yourself higher than others. You might, but that's your own thing. Me, as a vegan, I don't see myself better than others just because I'm vegan. I just stand against oppression and violence, and you can decide if that is better than other people. And I don't think that. I just know that it's wrong to support these industries, so I don't want to support them. In no way I'm perfect. I do support industries that aren't good. I'm not perfect. We don't live in a perfect world, but I'm doing the best that I can. Veganism isn't the most that we can do, it's the least that we can do, and it's a great starting point.
It ain't fun how it's supposed to be. It's too natural. They try to make it too natural. Like, hey, you can't wear designer clothes because you're vegan. You can't eat honey.
Even though none of this stuff are opinions, a lot of people like to say that, and they like to say, okay, we agree to disagree. You know, we have different opinions. The thing is that these things are facts. Innocent, defenseless, sentient beings get harmed and killed, sexually assaulted, exploited, tortured, manipulated because we want to consume their body parts and their secretions. That's a fact. That's not my opinion. Unfortunately, it's not. I wish it was, because then it wouldn't be so serious. But unfortunately, it is a fact, and that's the truth of the matter, and that's what's going on when we consume animal products. I'm proud to say that I'm vegan. I'm proud to share about veganism, not because I think that I'm better than any other fellow human, but because I want to take a stance against violence and oppression. And I want to share that with others because I know that there are so many good people in this world who would like to do the same thing, but they're just not aware of what they're supporting when they buy this or they consume this or whatever it may be. I just want to help people out because at one point in my life, actually most of my life, I had no clue what I was supporting. And you don't want to be supporting such terrible industries of terrible practices, the same thing of what happened to fellow humans in history. And Waka, who happens to be a rapper and openly speaks about it and stands behind it and is proud of being a rapper, it's the same thing with vegans. Just because you say that you're something or you stand for something doesn't mean that you think you're better than others. You just want to share who you are and what you believe in. And it's funny because that's exactly what rapping is all about.
When I started reading that vegans can't eat honey, I was like, y'all going too far. Let me fall back.
When I first went vegan, and even just a few years ago, I even thought it was kind of weird that honey is not considered vegan because I didn't really see the big deal. I was like, okay, well, it's from an insect. Why should it not be considered vegan? Like, what's going on? Like, why is it not vegan? Because I know plenty of people who call themselves vegans and they consume honey. And I was like, okay, that's fine. Like, who cares? I mean, I'm not gonna consume it myself, but I mean, what's the big deal? And then I educated myself and I found out that male bees have to be squeezed to death for their semen, and the semen is forcefully injected into the queen bee in order for her to be a queen and lay eggs and all that kind of stuff. And then she is ordered in the mail and she is shipped off to wherever she was ordered, and her wings are clipped once they receive her in the mail so that she can't fly away, because if she flies away and they don't have a queen, then they will not produce honey. They work really, really hard to build their homes, which is the honeycombs, the beehives. That's their homes, that's where they live, that's where they worked hard for, that's where they raise their young, that's where they raise their family. And I know this sounds silly, I know they're insects, but they still matter. And the honey itself is actually their food that they consume. They work really, really hard for, they fly miles for to produce that honey. They regurgitate it 9 times, aka throwing it up 9 times before it becomes honey. And they put a lot of work into it, and it's their whole entire life. And it's their food, like I said. When we take that away from them, we're taking their food away from them, and we give them sugar water. And of course they love it, but kids also love McDonald's, but that doesn't mean that you give it to them, and that doesn't mean it's okay to give to them, and it doesn't mean it's healthy for them just because they love it. We also set their hives on fire, or we gas them to save money for some reason. I don't know, you can look more into that. There's plenty of videos on it. Bite Size Vegan has a really good video on it. But yeah, the honey industry is very, very unethical. I had no clue until recently. It's also an animal protein, so that's why it's not vegan. So even if some way, one way or another, I don't see how it could be, because it still is their food, and taking that away from them is not cool. But even if it was ethical, it still would not be vegan, because it is an animal protein, and us vegans, we don't consume animal protein. So that's why honey isn't vegan. It's not extreme at all. I think what's more extreme is what we do to get that honey. It's not because vegans are extreme or anything like that. What's actually really extreme is the fact that we do this and go through this whole process to make profit and to consume this bee vomit, because like I said, it's regurgitated 9 times before it becomes honey. I think is more extreme, in my opinion, than people saying that honey isn't vegan.
Technically, a plant has just as much life as an animal does. They just don't have the common sense or mindset, but it's the same power of life. It feels everything that we feel.
That's so true. Plants are alive, and so are animals. But unlike animals, plants are insentient, meaning that they don't have a central nervous system connected to a brain, meaning that they can't feel pain, both mentally and physically, just like us animals can. And humans are animals. And the problem with making that argument is that we all have to eat in order to survive. There's no way with getting around that. Even if you were to eat animals and their secretions instead of plants, they still have to eat, and they eat plants, and they eat a lot of plants. You are not only killing plants or using plants and hurting them one way or another, if you really do believe that, you're also causing harm and death upon animals who are actually sentient beings, just like you and I are. So with whatever route we take, plants are still in the equation. Is eating plant-based causing more harm than consuming animal products? You decide. It's completely up to you and your opinion, even though there's facts. But I do want to hear your thoughts on which causes the least amount of harm. Would it be going straight to the source for your nutrients and not having to run your nutrients through a dead body? Or would it be going through an animal and their secretions, in which they have to eat plants and they have to eat a lot of them? Which is better?
Yeah, vegans definitely don't have a good reputation. It's not enlightened, man. They scare people and shit. Like, people are scared of vegans. They're like fucking cops. When vegans are around, people be trying to throw their food under the table. Like, oh, the vegans.
Waka, please don't let people who are like that, who happen to be vegan, affect you in that kind of way. Because I know for myself, I still get affected by people, whether they're vegan or not, times where there are vegans, and it has affected me because it's been so negative and mean, and it's frustrating and it's discouraging. But you're strong enough to block all of that out, and you have all of our love and support. And if any of you comment on his stuff or direct anything towards him, just be nice, but don't sugarcoat things. Educate, be helpful, be patient, other than just point fingers, but don't sugarcoat things. And don't be like, well, you know, it's okay to like have cheat days, unless like they're doing it and the end goal is to be vegan without any cheat days, because that's just not a thing if you're actually vegan. But if they're using that as a stepping stone towards veganism, don't be mean, be encouraging. Be like, okay, that's fine. But maybe even on those cheat days that you find that you're craving all of these things, or something that you're craving so badly, maybe find an alternative for it and make it throughout the week. You can still have your little cheat day, but throughout the week, try to have those alternatives that you do have on your cheat days that you're missing. And like this video if you like it, subscribe if you want to subscribe and make sure to hit that notification button, because unfortunately the subscribe button just isn't enough for YouTube these days. If you are subscribed, and let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about this whole Waka Flocka thing and what you think about honey. Is that extreme that it's not vegan? And also let me know if you can relate to being disappointed when you found out that not all vegan food is healthy, because I definitely can, and I know that he can as well. Also, let's just educate each other. Go on his comments on Instagram if anyone comments anything, or just even comment something directed towards him. He probably won't see it, but you never know. And even if he won't see it, maybe someone else will see it and it will get someone else in the comments thinking, which is really, really good. Hopefully he'll get back to being vegan and he'll actually be vegan rather than plant-based, and he'll understand why veganism is such a thing, which is very, very unfortunate, because he has people in his life, like he's done a lot of like videos and stuff like that, especially like for PETA. No, I'm not all for PETA, but some of their stuff that they do is really, really good, and it's just kind of weird that he was around that rather than someone who did like a photo shoot for PETA and it was like a fur photo shoot and they really don't really care, they're just doing it for publicity. But he was like actually around that and he was talking about it and he was wearing like shirts and stuff, and it was really, really cool to see. And this is kind of surprising to hear, because I just had assumed that he understood the ethics behind veganism. He just doesn't know. He's just unaware, like a lot of us are, and I'm still unaware in a lot of areas, but we just gotta help each other and guide each other in the right direction, because overall veganism is the right direction. There's no right direction with going towards animal products and causing all of that destruction upon others, not just the animals, and it's just not cool. So let me know everything in the comments, and also just help others along the way in the world, whether it be on my comments or in his comments or on Twitter or wherever it may be. I was about to say Snapchat, but that's like not like a platform where people like interact on that kind of level, but you know what I mean.